How y'all doing? This is Rob Burnham, I'm here, Preacher Man Army. This is another episode of Richard TV 91. This time I'm doing another movie reviews, and this time I'm reviewing Rambo 3. What happens on Rambo 3 is John Rambo's living in Bangkok, I think, and the colonel comes trying to find him because the colonel's about to go on a mission to Afghanistan to help these Afghanistan rebels against the Russians. And he asked John Rambo to go with him, but John Rambo says this isn't his war, so the colonel goes in by himself. Well, the colonel winds up getting captured, and the guys who sent the colonel in tells John Rambo about it, and John Rambo says, send me in. And they said they can't do it officially. If something happens and John Rambo winds up getting captured in Afghanistan, they couldn't help him. And he says, let me go. And John Rambo goes to Afghanistan, and he meets the rebels, and he's wanting to go get his colonel. And the rebels are trying to figure out how to do this, but John says all he needs is 2 people, so he goes in alone. And then the tour guide that he had and this kid fighter go with him. And John tells the kid to go back, but he doesn't listen, and they infiltrate the base where the colonel is and put all these explosives, and John sets an assault on the base and almost gets the colonel out of there, but he ain't able to do it, and he winds up getting wounded in the battle, and he tells the 2 rebel soldiers to go back to the rebels, and John goes in by himself again. Well, before this, he has a little piece of rebar or something stuck in his side, so he has to get that out. And then he goes back in the morning into the base, and he gets the colonel, and they get out of there, and he gets all the hostages out of there too, and they go to the caves where John first came to get to the village that he went to, and the Russians follow him and the colonel in there, and John Rambo and the colonel split up and take out all the Russian soldiers that go in there after him, and then the head of the Russians that's over these soldiers goes back for reinforcements, and John Rambo and the colonel's almost to the border to Baghdad, but they wind up getting surrounded by the Russians, and then the rebels come, and the rebels help them fight the Russians, and John Rambo and the colonel's able to defeat the Russians and get out of Afghanistan alive. And that's all that really happened on Rambo 3. Did y'all ever watch Rambo 3? What'd y'all like about it? As always, Preacher Man R&B signing out, guys. GG's awesome. It's been an episode of Richard TV 91. See you next time.